Well, good evening, everybody. Hello. welcome. Very special show tonight. I know I say that all the time, but first of all, this is the first Stephen D. Kelley show of 2017. And you may have heard that if you thought 2016 was something, just wait, because it's not going to take very long. It's going to start right now. Anyway, welcome to Truth Cat Radio. This is www.truthcatradio.com. My name is Stephen D. Kelley, and this is the Stephen D. Kelley Show. And it is now 7:02 here in California, 10 p.m., 10:02 here in the East Coast. Very big day, January 5th, 2017. Numerologists, look at that day. Tonight we're talking about the Getty. Specifically, we're talking about the battle for the Getty, the operation, the Getty operation. And of course, the Getty operation, the battle for the Getty, is our bulkhead. It is our D-Day. And it is basically the beginning of the end for the New World Order and the dark side. Great things are coming. Great things are coming very soon. Great things are in the works. We still have a lot of work to do. We're not done by no means, nowhere near done. But everybody has a lot to learn, and this is one of the more important aspects because we're going to have disclosure. And part of disclosure means becoming aware of a lot of things that people are not aware of now. And this is going to require a lot of growth real fast. And we're going to talk about that tonight because in order to describe what's going on with the Getty, you need to become aware of mechanics and issues and realities, physicalities, spiritualities, aspects, facets, shades of reality that you're not aware of, that you may not be aware of, that you need to understand in order to comprehend what is going on here. Again, I will do my best to be coherent and comprehensive and somewhat linear. But after putting a lot of thought into this, there's a lot of things that I need to share with you. I need to share with you what happened with our adventures yesterday with the astral traveling, the remote viewing, and the investigation that took place yesterday, the assault, the things that happened unexpectedly, and the things that are going on right now as a result of what we did yesterday. It's extremely important and it's extremely fluid, and I want to say that this is happening real time, and it's such that our very thoughts and our very focus and our minds being applied to this subject right now, like you are doing right now, listening to this message, is giving energy to those forces that are taking over and freeing and doing what they can to deliver us. Now, one of the reasons why I'm doing this show is not only because I'm trying to share this very important information that I feel is necessary and pertinent and timely, but also because of the very fact that the message, the Occupy the Getty movement message, is starting to take hold. It's starting to become mainstream, and it's starting to actually have a devastating effect on the dark side. The very fact that that's happening is also causing certain individuals within our community to take this subject up and start discussing aspects of these details, these realities that they are perhaps not really aware of, but they're doing their best to be somehow involved in. I don't want to say anything negative about these people because for the most part, I think a lot of them have good intentions. However, if it's ever being done in such a way to promote some sort of income, then I would suggest that that would be a good good possibility that that person is serving the wrong side. So it's very important that everyone understand that if there's anything going on at the Getty, if there's anything happening, if there's anything going to be reported, you really need to talk to me. Now, 5 years ago, this November, 2012, if you will, which is significant, was when I came out and talked about this and first broke this story. Now, whether you believe in what happened, anything happening on 2012, December, people believe it was 12/12/2012. Yes, something did happen. And what happened was consciousness woke up. And consciousness, by consciousness, I mean that the human brains were given ideas that they did not have, and the spark was set. A tinder was lit. And one of the most significant tenders that was lit was that November when the story of the Getty came out and it first hit the first hit the airwaves, and the YouTube video went viral, quasi-viral on the internet. Again, that was a very, very small thing, but still, the fire was lit. That was 5 years ago. Way back when, we talked about underground bunkers and tube trains and sex slaves and mind control and all of this sort of thing, and Nazis and Zionists and this and that. And it all seemed very fantastic. And here we are, 5 years plus, slightly later, 2017. Well, 2016, November would have been 5 years, of course, but point being is that suddenly Pizzagate is a common knowledge. Suddenly pedophilia at the highest levels of power is common knowledge, and we know that these people are practicing a satanic worship in the process of this, and we know that children are being killed and people are being killed and blood rituals are being performed and cannibalism is being performed, and all of this is being done in the name of the dark forces. And suddenly this is not so crazy. But what seems crazy is that it all could be based out of a small pizza joint in Washington, D.C. Obviously, that's not the case. But if we go back and we look at this information that I released years ago, we know that the Getty Museum on top of Santa Monica Mountain in Los Angeles is home to the elevator shaft that leads down to the bunker that is the royal bunker for the royal family, a gateway, a palace, if you will, a getaway. And we know that it's staffed with slaves, and we know that they are doing satanic rituals, and we know that these satanic rituals involved kidnapped individuals, primarily children. All of this was revealed via remote viewing. And if you don't believe in remote viewing, I recommend you watch the movie Men Who Stare at Goats. But I'm also going to have to ask you to have an extremely open mind, because I know a lot of the Trump fans out there are not going to believe any of this stuff. So I'm going to, in order to make you understand the nature of what we're dealing with and the nature of what we had to do to accomplish what we did at the Getty, you're going to need to understand the mechanics of the universe. And of course, if you're going to have disclosure and you're going to wake up and you're going to know everything about everything and suddenly join the advanced humans, it will also be required that you know these things. So I'll be brief, but let's just say this. This is what we know, and this information, don't ask me where this information came from, but it's necessary to understand this. The universe is based on ratios of physical to spiritual. It is not dimensions, it is densities. Densities are based on, again, physical to spiritual ratios. The first density is 100% physical. It is inanimate objects, rocks, if you will, non-living entities. Level 2 is plants and animals, living entities, very little spiritual ability, yet living. Level 3, humans. Mostly physical, a little spark of spiritual, enough spark of spiritual to have cognizance of self and the concept of a creator. Level 4 This is almost 50% spiritual and almost 50% physical. This is the level just above us. That is where the aliens and the little gray guys and the reptilians and all those guys hang out. Demons, if you want to call them demons, but lesser demons nonetheless. Level 5, more spiritual, very little physical. This is essentially what you would consider heaven or limbo, if you will, depending on your faith. And this is where you go before you reincarnate, and you spend most of your time here. The level above that, level 6, is where the angels are. You're not going to spend any time there. You're only going to pass through on your way up. Everything is on its way up. After the angels comes the ascended masters. The ascended masters are your Jesus, the prophets, Moses, etc., etc., etc. All of those guys, all of those people that have elevated to that high status are considered ascended masters. Each of these individuals retains their individuality from the bottom up to this level. They stay individuals. What comes after that? Let me see, what is that, 7? After that, there's another level where they stop being individuals. Groups of these entities form into quasi-individuals. This is the last step before Source. There is no individuality with Source. Source is everything. Everything goes back to Source. This is like a shell game, circles within circles. There's a part of you in every one of these levels, but you're only occupying one level at a time, technically. But your foot is still there. You have a shadow of you in each of these levels. This is why you will return to Source. Everything returns to Source because everything came from Source. However, lower levels are affected by higher levels. Therefore, our level of reality, the third level of density, is being manipulated by higher levels of reality, and those levels of reality are being manipulated by levels of reality above them. It works in a one-way direction. When we use psychic skills, we are entering into the higher level. When we access the Akashic records, we are entering into the higher level. This is not the level we go to when we graduate all the way and go back to purgatory and go into our pre-state before reincarnation. However, this level also manifests in reality in the form of scalar versus electromagnetic. Our third level of reality is ruled by the electromagnetic. The higher level of reality above ours, which controls ours and also controls our electromagnetic spectrum, is scalar. It has a scalar spectrum. Changing scalar spectrum changes reality on the third level. All of these things are very important. Remember, Satan is a fallen angel. Satan only occupies up to that level, the level of where the angels are. It does not go up to the fallen, the ascended masters. The dark entities, the aliens, they only go up to level 4 and they stop. That's their curse. They're not like us. We get to go higher. Why is this important? It's important because when I talk about the Getty and I talk about a man-made structure that occupies space in the third level reality that we know as reality, you also have to assume and you have to understand that the reality also shares space with these other realities, including higher realities. And if you think you're going to do something that's going to alter the reality and it's not being allowed to happen because of higher levels of reality, you have to affect those changes in higher levels of reality. And if it is a much higher level of reality preventing you, then you can only stop it and change it by coming from a level above it. And this is very important to understand. And one of the ways that to help you understand this, and I'll bring this up probably later, but I'm just going to throw this out there for convenience, is the concept of Kant being killed. If you have higher levels of reality preventing something from happening in a lower level of reality, it will not happen. This is how that works. Okay, back to the Getty. Again, the Getty project I identified as the weak link of the entire underground New World Order system and the satanic domination of Earth, and that the exposure, occupation, and subsequent breaching of the entry of the enclosure of the underground city located beneath the Getty Center in Los Angeles would be the end of the New World Order, and it would destroy completely everything that Satan has used to rule this earth now for so long. And I know that may sound very strange, but you have to understand that the physical and the non-physical, the spiritual, is working side by side, and we're going to be dwelling on that aspect quite a bit here. The first aspect of the reality of this story was locating it, discovering that this building was existed and created for this purpose. Somebody had to do it. The next step was to explore and get past the psychic barriers that were set up. Again, this required non-physical work. This required fourth level work. That happened. It caused it to be exposed. 5 years went by. Constant effort went into trying to expose this. Many people along the way, well-known people, owners of radio stations, actively fought this information, almost as if they were working for the dark side itself, almost as if they knew that the key to survival of the dark side was the submission of this information. This is why you haven't seen this information on Alex Jones or Caravan to Midnight or one of these other quasi, or how about George Noory or the other one? Yeah, that guy. Art Bell. Why do you think they're not talking about this stuff? It's voodoo. It's nuclear. They can't talk about it. What have they done to try to control this information? The only thing that the powers that be have done to control this information was to blatantly take and make a movie, in this case a Star Trek movie, that used the Getty as the backdrop for the entrance to a secret underground bunker that was being used by the Earth forces that controlled the world, that was subsequently destroyed by somebody working from within the inside who carried a bomb or some device down in there that caused the destruction to take place. If that is not an in-your-face acknowledgement of what these people are expecting, nobody's paying attention. And if anybody knows anything about the Illuminati, they know that this is how they operate. Everything is in your face and right in front of you all the time. In this case, they put the Getty right in front of everybody and showed a fictional underground bunker complex. And then they dramatized the destruction of said complex by futuristic means. This is a Illuminati Bilderberger wet dream or a nightmare. This is what they see. You know what they don't say see? They see me. They see me in a coat. They see me in a raincoat, bulletproof raincoat, and they think I'm Neo, and they think I'm going to bring a bunch of guns and go in there and dodge bullets and take over their little world and kill them. This is what they thought of. This is why we have the Matrix. This is the Matrix. When we talk about what we saw inside the Getty, it's going to sound even more like the Matrix, and I'll get into that when I talk about the remote viewing. But first, I have to continue talking about the physical aspects of this entire operation. Yes, there are children being abducted by the hundreds of thousands all over the United States, not just in Hollywood, not just in LA, but all over the United States, in every major metropolitan area, including the boonies, the woods, national parks, out in the middle of nowhere. People just go missing. Families, groups. It's ridiculous. Where are these people going? They're going underground. They're being snatched. They're being taken underground. They're being used. We'll talk about what they're being used for. But that's what's happening. And this is why we are able to defeat them. And this is why we've won, because it's all been exposed thanks to WikiLeaks. I'll give credit to WikiLeaks. Yes, I did introduce this information 4 years before WikiLeaks, over 5 years ago. But thanks to Julian Assange, it has become mainstream. And people are starting to use words like Satanism, pedophilia, blood sacrifice, blood ritual, spirit cooking, hot dogs, pizza map. Anyway, it's all very disgusting, but it's such that it's enough to wake up people and shock people into action. And this is magic, because now we have used this to get someone who is not a Satan worshiper into office. And because of this, now we will be able to drive this boat and drive this car, drive this truck, whatever you want to call it, this country. We are driving our own future now. And I'm very, very happy to be part of that. And I'm very, very happy to actually be driving this operation that we're doing right now. And this is not about egos, and this is not about being special, and this is not about making money or making a career or whatever, because I would like to be done with this and go away, be in obscurity. I don't even want to be living. I would just as soon go back to my home planet and get the heck off of this rock, do my job, and go home. But this is my job. And this job had to be somebody's job, and it had to be somebody's only job, and it had to be somebody's only job that they only talked about this one thing, because that's the only way it was going to work. And that was what I was stuck here to do. And this is why I am a one-song act. Well, you know, I try to talk about a lot of things, of course, because obviously we're trying to save the world and educate people. But the key to everything is the Getty. All right? Black Lives Matter, Getty. Water protectors, Getty. Pizzagate, Getty. War in Iraq, Getty. Syria, Getty. Israel, Getty. Palestine is Getty. I don't care what it is. The answer is the Getty. If you don't like something, Fukushima, Getty. Chemtrails, Getty. You want it to stop? Getty. GMOs, Getty. Crap on TV, Getty. Cell phone towers going to kill us, Getty. This is the answer. Nothing we do on the surface matters. No protesting, nothing matters. The only protesting thing that we can do on the surface that matters is protesting the Getty. Now, these people knew, the people that built these things knew hundreds of years ago in advance that this day would come. They built everything knowing that this day would come. And they didn't just build their castles to be impregnable from humans. They built these things to be impregnable from anything. And when I say anything, I mean higher level entities, aliens, angels, if you will. And I'll explain how they did that. And I'll also explain how we're going to get past it and how we have got past it. But back to this other part. If you have not read the protocols of the learned elders of Zion, read the protocols of the learned elders of Zion. Sometimes it's difficult for you to understand these things that are happening if you have not done your homework. This is part of your homework. I'm also going to advise everybody, you should be probably taking notes. I would recommend you take notes. Go get your pad and paper right now. The other thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to read the Magna Carta. You must read the Magna Carta, because if you do not read the Magna Carta, you cannot pretend to understand the power structure and how the human corporate network is set up. Because as my dear colleague Graham says, no, it's not the Vatican. It is the crown. But you have to read the Magna Carta to understand that. It's just a position in a corporation. It's all part of the same corporation. Again, we're only talking about the human aspects of all this. But if you look at the humans that we're dealing with, you have to agree that we're talking about humans that use rituals and symbols and ancient knowledge, esoteric wisdom. And I'm not just talking about Satanists or Luciferians or Templars, Rosicrucians, Hospitaliers, Hebrews, Arians, people that follow pre-epoch beliefs, people that follow belief systems based on alien cultures. All of this has to be taken into consideration. And all of this is being applied. But the most important thing, as I said, that we have done as humans on this earth is we have opened our brains to the idea of this one thing, and that is that this place, this building, this $6 billion structure on top of Santa Monica Mountain that's known as the Getty Center, is the key to our future, is where our energies and our thoughts and those pictures in our heads should be focused. We should see that image in our heads and know that right below it is a massive, massive structure housed by entities that are in fear of us, that are hiding from us, that have been feeding off of us, and know that their time is over. There's nothing they can do. They had the attitude that there was nothing that we could do for so long, and they thought of us as stupid animals for so long. And yet, even the higher entities, the higher level entities, the light beings, the Pleiadians, the fourth density entities that sought to come here and help us, even the fifth level entities and higher, could not do it unless we, humans, surface humans of the third level that we are, became involved. Because it was our intentions, our ability, our intentions are what controlled our reality. And if our intentions are causing the reality to be such that this structure would be impervious, almost as if it did not exist, there was no way that any entity could penetrate this. So the very fact that we even thought about it, and now we have ever-growing numbers of people thinking about this and pondering what's under the Getty, every thought emanating from every third eye of every human is going down there like a laser, burning through the levels all the way down and cleansing it just like you would use a laser to cleanse a crystal. It's really happening. This, of course, is on the spiritual level, but back to the physical level. Again, no humans have been freed from this structure, as has been reported by Benjamin Fulford and Mr. Dunn. This has not happened. There is no White Dragon Society, Asian Mafia, benevolent or not, involved in this operation. If they were, they would be just as limited by the physical constraints that are preventing any intervention up until right now, such as I have discussed and will continue to discuss. If anything of this sort would have happened, and even in the slightest way, I would have been aware. There would have been many signs. I would have certainly been contacted. I would have been briefed, and I would be briefing, and I would be involved. That's just a reality. But no, none of that happened. If it did happen, where is the trillions and trillions of dollars in gold that should have been liberated and brought to the surface for the purposes of bringing us all out of poverty and feeding us and feeding the world and taking all hunger away from everyone in the world? Where is that? Where is the high technology down there that we need so bad to cure the radiation in the Pacific and fix Fukushima and bring that ocean back to life and start us on the process of saving our Earth from the slow death that was foisted upon us by the dark side that they call Fukushima, that they don't even talk about? Where's the leadership? Where's Donald Trump? Where's Hillary Clinton? Why has not one of them mentioned Fukushima? How about everyone's little Bernie? I don't recall Bernie ever saying Fukushima is the number one threat to human existence on Earth. And I don't have any time for these scum that think making a dollar and polishing the rails in the Titanic is important when we're all dying and whales are washing up dead and everything that's alive in the Pacific is washing up dead. And pretty soon that'll be happening in the Atlantic. And are you still going to eat seafood? And this is only one issue, but it's a big one because we are dying and it's a slow kill. And it's an extremely important issue that we save it and save the Earth now. And the only way we're going to do it is by occupying the Getty and freeing that technology that's being hidden from us down there. So don't listen to the lies and the distractions of these fools that are trying to tell you, don't worry, everything's okay. The good guys got it. The white hats are in charge. They're in control. Don't worry about it. White hats. I'm the white hat. The super soldiers are at war. Yes, the super soldiers are at war. Yes, I am leading them. I will let you know when we're done fighting. But no, we're not done fighting. And no, we have not released 100,000 child sex slaves. The other aspect of the physical nature of what's going on. The reality that the bunkers are no longer secure and that the bunkers are now becoming public knowledge and will soon be breached physically. That knowledge alone is enough to cause the people that the bunker was created for to panic and start looking for a new place to hide. Because this is about the time that they were getting ready to go down there and hide. And you know what? They pulled the pin on the grenade, and all of a sudden their foxholes filled up with something, and they can't get in there. And they're up on the surface getting ready to get blown up, just like us. And they're panicking. They want to know where they can go. So that's why all of a sudden all these bastards are running up to places like Antarctica, checking out the real estate in New Zealand, all that fun stuff. What reason do they have to be in Antarctica? They're trying to make a new Schwabenland escape, just like the Third Reich did, just like the Atlanteans did. They want to take refuge in Agartha. And I got a feeling that they are not spiritually developed or ready to be taken in. I don't think the people in there are ready to take those guys in. So they're kind of screwed right now. So these rats have nowhere to go. This is like a gopher colony that's having its tunnels dug up. And it can't make new tunnels quick enough because we're digging them up right now. Cockroaches, whatever. There's no place for them to go. So that's happening. The Queen has gone into hiding. people say that the Queen, some people in our truth community, the same people that are making the lies about the white hats taking over and the big fight going on, they think they're going to try to give you a report on the fight going on when they don't know what the hell's going on. They're going to tell you that the Queen is hiding under the Denver airport or some other place. The last place the Queen is going to go to right now is one of these bunkers. The very fact that they're freaking out is because the royal bunker, the one that was actually made for the Queen under the Getty, has now been compromised and is public knowledge is no longer safe for Her Highness. So Her Highness decided that it was time to come clean about the pedophilia because she realized that the peasants have their pitchforks really sharpened right now and the torches are oiled up and we're getting ready to lynch some pedos. And I think we all know that the royal family is pretty much all pedo. We know that there's a lot of pedos in the CIA. We know that the Pentagon is certainly full of pedos. What they find, 2/3 of the computers had child porn on it. We don't even need to talk about it because the bottom line is that they're all doing it. It's part of the recruitment process to get these people. It's called being a Luciferian. Anyway, that's pretty much most of the surface stuff. Oh, gee, Scott Bennett, he just gave me a link. I wonder if it was my thing. Russian major threat. Oh, okay. Let me see. I've been waiting for Press TV to give me a link to what I did this morning, and I'm going to take a chance and see if maybe what Scott Bennett just sent me was actually my link, because, I wouldn't be surprised if they did that, but I'm a little bit anxious. Somebody told me that if it does come up, I should play it on the show, but I'm just going to go through it real quick, see if this has got what's his face from Veterans Today. All right, I'm going to assume that my stuff was too hot today. Okay, when I went on Press TV, and I'm going to say that it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that they're not releasing that because it was meant to stop World War III. All right. And I don't even know if I mentioned this earlier during the show, but I'm just going to reiterate if I did. And that is that, when I was sleeping about 10:30 this morning or 10 o'clock this morning, I get the call from Press TV to come on and talk about John McCain up in front of the Senate, complaining about the Russians attacking our election process. And obviously this is leading up to a investigation, which I suspect is the first step prior to launching some sort of a punitive measure, which essentially would be the initiation of World War III, which we know they've already decided they're going to do. And this is why they're massing 100,000 M1 tanks along the border of Russia in Lithuania and Latvia and Estonia and Poland and what have you, not to mention Ukraine. So obviously, if we learned anything from the Iraq War, we know that when they tell us crap about somebody doing something naughty like Saddam having yellow cake or some stupid thing like this, we know it's all bullshit and that they're planning on doing what they're going to do. And so these bastards are going to do World War III, and we have to stop them now, and we cannot screw around any longer and be nice. And we have to go straight for the jugular, and we have to make every move we can to kill them with as most harshness as we possibly can right now. And that doesn't mean going out and getting the pitchforks and going on the streets and attacking cops or military bases. No, that means we take this radioactive time bomb, which is the most important thing that we have that can kill these guys, and that is the Getty and this pedophilia issue. We have to make this so damn loud and so damn public, big time. And if I mentioned back in the earlier, I'm sorry I got off of this, but in the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion, this book that you got to read, there is a part where they talk about the Metropolitans. The Metropolitans are the name that they give to these underground bunkers. And they say, what fear do we have of the Goy rising up, the mob rising up against us? None. because we have the most fearsome weapon. And what is that fearsome weapon? That fearsome weapon is the undergrounds that allows them to move back and forth and be protected from what they do on the surface, because what they will do on the surface is they will use a heinous, heinous bomb, which they threatened in this book that was written over 100 years ago or longer. And they said that they would blow up our cities and our archives. The Getty is an archive. It is a repository. It's a museum. It's the Getty. It contains not only art, sculpture, massive amounts of Western culture, it also contains the Getty archives, which is almost every single damn photograph ever taken, because they've done that. So what are they saying? If us, the mob, us little stupid surface human cows, ever rise up and crash their party and try to occupy it, they're going to nuke it. And when they do that, they will destroy all of our pretty artwork and all of our memories and all of our statues, just like they're doing in Palmyra and Aleppo and Syria when they're smashing those statues. What do you think they're doing? They're destroying culture. Who do you think is doing that? The dark side. Sure, the Zionists are doing that. Sure, the Zionists are controlling it, but it's the same thing. This dark side controls all those dark groups. They're all different fingers of the same hand, if you will. So, what does that mean? That means if we all rise up and get our guns and our AR-15s, we go, we're going to go get that Getty, and we're going to invade that, and we're going to force our way into that elevator. And we're going to go down there, and we're going to rescue those children, and we're going to take over, we'll get that gold back. It ain't going to happen. First of all, it's the most serious fortress that's ever been built. It's extremely impregnable. You're not going to get into the elevator that's got a vault door on it that looks like something from Iron Mountain or NORAD. You're not going to open that. The only people that can open that is them. And like I said, if you ever get that close, they'll just let off a nice little self-destruct button and take out the whole top of Santa Monica Mountain, along with all that cool artwork, all the Van Goghs and Monets and Manets and you name it. It's all going to go up. Boom. And you won't be able to go down there and try to chase after them because it'll be all radioactive. And it'll take out a lot of people at the same time, which is what they want to do anyway. All right, so that's not going to work. That is not going to work. Now, okay, I started this project years and years ago because I was recruited by these people, and to be one of them for whatever reasons, and I know the reasons now. It's because of this. They knew I was going to do this, and this is the way of trying to manage things as they try to recruit. But anyway, bottom line is it didn't work, and I realized that I was going to be at odds with these guys and trying to save the world from what they're trying to do. But I realized that going to war with them, taking guns and conventional warfare techniques was not going to work. And this is why the pursuit of the psychic skills has become such a priority. Now, at the same time, though, when you're pursuing psychic skills for the purposes of conquest, or whatever you want to call this, liberation, it still involves something a little bit on the negative side. Bottom line is that in the process of learning these skills, in the process of coming into these energies, it becomes very obvious very quickly that you do not use offensive tactics on this kind of an enemy, and you do not assault the dark side. You serve the victims, and in a way, you're taking that away from the dark side because the dark side feeds on these victims. So even though this seems like a weak way of doing it, it's actually extremely effective, because what it's actually doing is it's taking away the life support for the dark side. The dark side depends on your energy. There is no dark side unless you feed it. We have to stop the people from feeding it. We'll get there. And when we explored the Getty, which I'm going to talk about real quick, we did learn quite a bit about how this feeding process takes place. We learned quite a few things. And of course, I'm going to recommend that all of you, if you have not done it, you can go ahead and watch the video, listen to the video that we put out. This is, of course, was Aurelia Helios, Lady of Light. It was the Wednesday show, Truth Cat number 3238. And that, of course, is January 4th, yesterday. Yeah, I didn't even try to bother Aurelia. I'm sure she's probably pretty burned out. It's one of those things, okay, and it's an ongoing thing. And of course, I'm very appreciative of her efforts. Okay, all right. So I've covered the physical stuff. Now, when you understand that even in a bunker enclosure like this, and you're dealing with high entities, high elite people, if you will. Still, they're still people, but they're very elite. They're above the most elite people that you could imagine on the surface. The ones up below are even more elite. If you continue up the power structure, it's easy to see that you start getting into aliens, and you get into the so-called Draco types, the lizards. Of course, David Icke talks about this quite a bit. The royalty, of course, we know is heavily associated with this lizard thing. This is a race of fourth density entities. Now, these are a very malevolent race of fourth density entities. They are the bad guys. A lot of people are going to refer to them as demons, but bottom line is they are only operating within the fourth level of density, which is one level above us, but it is still below 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Very important details. Satan, I suspect, is operating from a higher level, but his little entities are there. Oh, thank you, Aurelia. All right, anyway. So you have to understand that if you're going to go up against these humans, you're also going to have to go up against these reptoids. And if you're going to go up against the reptoids, you're also going to have to go up against the entities that are above them. And it's going to go up higher and higher and higher. It's like everybody's got a bigger brother. My dad's bigger than your dad. Well, my dad's uncle is bigger than your dad. Come on. Knife, pistol, machete, whatever, atom bomb. It goes upwards. This is how this stuff works. So if we think that we're going to waltz into this thing and do battle with Satan, we need to have a little bit more than third level density going on. Now, again, all of us play a role, but magical things had to happen. And this involved combinations of male and female energy. This involved massive amounts of spiritual development, and it also involved massive amounts of unconditional love, which is extremely difficult because we're talking about pedophiles that murder children. Do not think that you're going to root out the satanic pedophiles and carry anger with you when you do it, because that will make you one of them. You cannot fight Satan with anger in your heart. You cannot fight these higher level densities with anger in your heart. You have to be a light warrior. There's no such thing as an angry light warrior. Except for me. I'll explain that later. Anger blocks chi flow. Chi is light. This is the energy that flows through us. This is the energy that you are beaming into the Getty right now that's helping to burn away the evil. It doesn't work if you're angry. You have to use love. These entities feed on the anger. The anger makes them stronger. The fear makes them stronger. The hate makes them stronger. The perversion makes them stronger. This is why they do it. This is why it's such a big part of this. This is why they feed on the children, because they need the fear, the terror, the pain, the despair, the anger of these children being abused. It's the most precious food they can have, the most nutritious food they can have. It doesn't just feed these entities. It's this negative energy that's being harvested here on our earth, under the Getty and other places, is not just feeding these negative entities that are living here with us now. It's being packaged and shipped and sold by these dark beings to the far reaches of the galaxy. It's like champagne. We make the finest louche in the universe, and that's what it is. It's louche. Louche is the word that they use to describe human, emotional, psychic, negative energy. The crap you put out when you're angry or hateful or sad or heartbroken or lonely or any of these things, or afraid or in pain, they harvest this all the time. This is part of their food. And why? Why do they do that? Remember, these entities are half spiritual, half human. You go up one level above us, you're dealing with entities that require spiritual nutrition. What the hell is spiritual nutrition? It's louche. It's called louche. We're louche cows. We make louche. They farm us for louche. They've been doing it for a long time. Guess what? We're getting ready to graduate and go up one step. They don't like it. They don't like it when their cows become as strong as them. That's what we're doing. And we're going to take them out, and we're going to clean everything up on Earth, and we're going to make this go away, and we're going to stop this loose harvesting. And we're going to create a paradise on Earth. And we're really close to doing it. Anyway, the louche harvesting is a major part of what's going on at the Getty. Now, I'm going to talk about the remote viewing. And I want to remind you that one of the major features of the Getty, as well as all of these bunkers, if you will, is that they utilize massive teams of humans, highly skilled, trained humans, special humans, such as ourselves, to perform the task of protecting access and production of these facilities, to keep advanced humans such as ourselves, remote viewers, psychics, from going down there and looking around, as well as preventing other alien entities utilizing advanced methods, Akashic record methods, advanced superconscious viewing techniques, even angels, if you will. They are actually producing barriers to keep out light beings such as angels from going down there and doing battle with these demons in these bunkers. It's that advanced. All right. I hear dogs moving. Oh, we've almost hit an hour. Gosh, does that mean I need to take a break? Haha, that's a joke. All right, well, before we did the remote viewing last night, the previous remote viewing I'll basically go over what it revealed, because the most recent ones have gone into quite a bit more detail. And as was revealed yesterday, it's kind of like Disneyland, and going to a section of Disneyland and getting so enamored with one particular section that you miss other sections that you really need to pay attention to. And this is a little bit of what happened yesterday, is that there's just so much to see that it's almost hard to focus on what's your first priority, which we were able to accomplish. But at the same time, we were able to see quite a bunch of amazing things, and we learned quite a few amazing things also. But the initial voyage to the bottom that was done years and years ago, that caused them to basically identify me as who I am, revealed the level of remote psychics, remote viewers that we've been spending so much time dealing with right now. It also revealed the spas, the Roman baths, and this was our first clue to the real decadent nature of what was going on, because of the obvious decadence of the spas. Below the spas, of course, we had massive living areas, the city, if you will, the entire underground world that they would be living in, these elites would be living in. And of course, this was, of course, manned by slaves, staffed by slaves. And the opulence, of course, was undescribable, extremely luxurious. And then we also discovered layers which were primarily devoted to tube trains and high-speed travel to other various locations, underground bases. And below this, the final level, at least the only level, the final level that was explored. There could be more levels below this, but more than likely, I think they keep the bottom reserved for the most ugly things, was where the most evil parts of the satanic sacrifice rituals and altars were going on. And a point upon viewing this was when the trip stopped, because it was too much for the person doing the viewing, because very often when people are doing these things, the very fact that they have these skills tends to cause them to be somewhat sympathetic to the dark side. And when they are exposed to the very, very evil nature of the dark side, it becomes a little harsh. It's a harsh bite of reality, and it dissuades many people from being involved. Now, Aurelia, of course, actually worked for these people, and I don't know, I'm not saying she worked under the Getty, but she was one of the many people who was recruited. Of course, she could explain this better herself if I'm inaccurate, but her and her husband were both involved with the military in doing so-called super soldier psychic men who stare at goats type operations, remote viewing type operations. And of course, in the process of this, she was involved with people who were clearly on the dark side. And she refers to these people euphemistically as CIA. Of course, I call these people cavers or Templars or something else. But CIA is a term that we throw around because it's people understand it, and it's a nice euphemistic term to explain the people that we're discussing here. Obviously, the NSA is very much involved in this also. But the bottom line is that when you get exposed to these groups, such as I have in Aurelia and others, you find out real soon that the reality that we're being fed on the surface, on TV and the newspapers, is far from the reality that is the reality of these people that are involved in these organizations and that are in the business of being more knowledgeable and intelligent than everyone else. And we learn about things like aliens and psychic skills and astral travel and astral projection and remote viewing, psychic spying, secret space program, super soldiers, jump rooms, time travel, secret weapons, scalar, Tesla, all of that. You have the ability to learn about all these things on YouTube and Facebook and the internet. If you do your research, it's all out there. So when people ask me to explain this stuff, I say do your own homework. It took me 20 years to learn all these things, but it's out there if you pay attention. But you need to learn this stuff because this is what disclosure is. You're going to have to catch up on the technology. You're going to have to catch up on the metaphysics, the woo-woo stuff, the spiritual stuff, the ancient history. Whatever it is that you think you knew, you're going to have to throw it out and start over. And when you think you've gotten to the end of that, you think you got it figured out, start over again. And when you think you've got it figured out, remind yourself, no, you don't know anything. You haven't figured out anything. You still don't know. There is no learning. You never stop learning. And even if you think you know something 100%, you don't. You always reserve 1% of uncertainty because that is the nature of reality, and that's what we have to do. It's like saying there's no good guys and there's no bad guys because there's no 100% of anything. All right? And that's going to be really, really important to understand when you remember that when we're dealing with these horrible, horrible entities, that we have to do it with love and compassion, unconditional love and compassion. Doesn't matter how horrible or wicked they are. And believe it or not, even if you want to destroy them, guess what? This is how we do it. I'm going to take a quick break for a second. Hang on. All right, welcome back. I'm sorry about that. Okay, first of all, if this is the first time you've ever been listening to Truth Cat Radio, I want to welcome you here. I do want to say that we do have a record number of listeners, so thank you. I guess, obviously, this is an important subject. A lot of people wanted to hear what I had to say about the Getty. Rightfully so. It is important information, and I do depend on you guys to disseminate this stuff and get it out there because I can't be the only one. I need every one of you to help me do this, too. That's Henry drinking water and the bird screaming over there. My God, dog interruptions. Russia did it. Yeah, that's it. Again, though, this is True Cat Radio, and I do want to thank you for listening, and I will promise to get the video out here real soon, and please share it, and do your best to help me confront the fake news or the fake reports that are coming out there, and if someone says that there's something going on, make sure you set them straight. All right, let's get back to the remote viewing going on. Okay, 2 trips have been made down here now by Aurelia. And one of the first trips was straight to what I am calling now the Hogwarts, or the level, the remote viewer level, the level of Nazi psychics. In my book, I call it the 200 Nazi psychics. Well, it's more than 200. Actually, who knows what the staff is. But the real remote viewers aren't so much the staff as much as they are the recruits and the trainees and the bodies. And it takes a lot of bodies to collect and process in order to find the 1 or 2% that have any skills whatsoever that can be used in this process of creating these gifted X-Men, if you will. So this is Xavier's University / Hogwarts School, Wizard College, essentially. That's what's going on. It has 3 levels. We explored the 3 levels. We saw crazy things, and I'm going to get into it in more detail, but at the same time, individuals were located and met, because you cannot go into these things, even psychically, remotely, astrally, without gifted individuals or individuals working there who are also gifted in these skills, not being aware of your doing this. And of course they're aware, because that's why they're there, to try to stop us from doing this. And most of the time their attitudes have been, what are you doing here? Don't you know how dangerous this is? What makes you think you can do anything? We're saving the world. What we're doing is righteous. It's the right thing to do. Satan and God are the same thing. You're not going to accomplish anything. You're weak. We're stronger than you. All of these things. So there's a lot of attitude that you're dealing with. Now, in the spirit of love and compassion and forgiveness, our approach has been to go directly to these individuals psychically and offer them compassion and love and family and friendship and forgiveness, and to rejoin the family of the surface and the humans and the love and the compassion, the connection that comes from that. Then this is something that they need and they're starving for down there because they have set themselves apart from it and above it to feed off of it. And they need this. The lack of it is probably what brought most of them there. So a real quick word of advice to everybody listening. Your children need mother and father's love. They need to get away from the video games a little bit, and they need that closeness and nurturing, and they need to know that you care. This is very, very important because these are how people fall into these traps. Now, on the surface of the Getty, we've talked about the security entrance that leads to the lower corridors that ultimately lead to the big door that leads to the big elevator that goes down, that leads to everything else. There's a lot of levels in between that. We identified at least 6 as of yesterday. And that does not include some of the levels that would be associated with the museum itself. But if you go into the security area, which of course is at the top of the tram exit, it is on a very low level already because the museum proper is a good level above that. You have to go up a good flight of stairs to get to the level of the actual museum itself, which is a multi-story building. Of course, the museum was built on a humongous, monstrous concrete slab that was allegedly the largest single pour of concrete in history, which is incredible considering how big the one used for the Hoover Dam was. Anyway, if we go, what we learned yesterday is that one of the upper of the lower levels basically contained quite a bit, almost like a city itself. And this level had access to tubes or tunnels which led out to various locations which provided access, secret access, underground secret access to high-ranking elitists scattered about the area. Now, this is something that was seen by the original remote viewing done 6-something years ago. We know that most of these tunnels lead to places such as homes of wealthy Hollywood people and people of great wealth located in the area who are associated with this project, who have become benefactors, who are perhaps Zionist, if you will. And we know that one of these tunnels that we've located more than once in these journeys is connected to the Skirball Center, which is directly across the freeway from the Getty Museum, the 405 freeway. And the Skirball Center, from what I understand, is dedicated to Jewish mysticism, Kabbalah, this kind of thing, and Jewish heritage. Something of a mystical temple, I suppose, if you will. Apparently, it's quite a large installation, and apparently these installations are actually located all across the United States, which I think is interesting. If we know that this one is connected to the Getty, I would suspect that the others also have similar connections to similar underground structures. Kind of like a never again, here's your escape tube thing. These tubes that lead into these areas are huge. These areas are like restaurants, hotels, banquet areas, party areas, vast party areas, bars, every kind of decadence, spas is available. There are rooms with drugs beyond your imagination. Pot stores, free weed, free cocaine, free speed, free DMT, free whatever you want. Constantly. Sex, drugs, rock and roll. It's actually like a rave. If you know what a rave is, if you're young enough to know what a rave is, if you've been to a rave, you'll know that raves tend to reach out to people in their 20s, the youthful people. And they tend to be underground parties, huge underground parties that feed crowds of people into remote locations that are secret up until the time of the event that only the ravers know about. Well, what we have going on under the Getty here in one of these levels is like a rave. And these people, these ravers, if you will, come to these things and they rave out. And they are fed drugs. And they are treated with special nutrients and special hydration techniques that they are told are the elitist tools and what elite people use. Probably in conjunction with DMT, I'm assuming. But these drugs leave them vulnerable. It leaves them with the inability to remember. And it sucks them into the Neverland, which is the exact purpose of the party and the creation of the entire structure that is the Getty. Now, these people that are sucked into these events, they are average people, young people. Some of them have been identified as having gifts. They have antisocial characteristics. They have lack of love characteristics. They are programmed via computer games, video games, television, music, all of these societal things that are being blamed for the degradation of society. Yeah, they're being used to create these quasi-zombie type kids that are being sucked into these things. Now, they're going to be observed and they're going to be tested because this is all a test. And if they pass the test, they get taken to the next level. They get recruited. Very, very small percentage of these people actually do. And these are the ones that resist the temptations and the drugs and whatever it is. And they realize that there's something else going on. These are the people they want. The rest of them, once those lost boys start growing long ears and tails, like in Pinocchio, they toss them into the little cages, in this case cells. And because of the drugs and because of the IVs that they're actually given, DMT again, I suspect, they find themselves in a stupor, unable to do anything, and perpetually stuck in a state that allows them to be milked like a cow, or to have their loosh, their energy, and their despair, and their negative human psychic energy, all of that to be sucked out of them and harvested via technology and techniques at that location. And there's rooms and rooms and rooms and rooms of these people. Lots and lots and lots and lots. these people all, one of the things that I learned, and again, when you learn these things, of course, you're learning them from a psychic standpoint, so it's not like I read or I can research. I say, oh, show me the link that says that. No, it's not how that works. But upon the research of this adventure downstairs into the Getty, one of the things that I detected was that Ormus was involved in this process of intoxication and quasi-paradise that these people are being exposed to in order to recruit them. And we actually used this Ormus to facilitate the escape of a lot of these people. Or actually, again, when I say people, I'm talking about energy now, souls that have been locked down there for a long time. We are able to actually liberate these things. And I would suspect, now that I think about it, that they did have the technology to probably encage people once they've already died. I suspect that souls were probably being held captive there too, because remember, when you're leaving, we're dealing with entities now of the highest levels here. You guys are going to have to listen to this other recording because I don't really want to repeat it, but the best thing I can do, one of the most important things I can do when I talk about this stuff, is try to help you understand or get past the spooky, bizarre nature of some of these crazy things. And so what I'm going to talk about right now is I'm going to go back to the mechanics of the density system and how it applies to the Getty. All right. Now, again, in order to do battle against Satan and persevere, work in these higher levels of density, you really require entities of these levels. Obviously, it would be like Earth humans trying to go up against Draco reptilians with third density technology against fourth density entities. It's ludicrous. It can't happen. The same applies to if humans were to try to do battle with angels or demons. We can only do that with tools not of this entity, of this level. We have to use it with tools of higher levels and with the help of entities from higher levels. When we pray and when we ask for protection and we call upon other entities to assist us, this is something that's physically actually happening. There are many, many entities on higher levels above us waiting to help us, waiting to do what we ask them to do. This is how the universe works. We hear people say, call upon the angels, ask the angels to do this, to that, da, 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 da. Yes, that's what you have to do. Yes, it does work that way. The same rules apply on the dark side. For instance, if an entity is of a third level density, then a fourth level density is going to be able to have influence on that entity. There's very little that third level density can do about it except to get the assistance of a density on the fourth density to intervene, or even a higher level density such as the fifth level. This is what we do when we ask for help from the angels, because the angels are on a level above those demons. So we're calling for help from higher levels. A good example of how this might work would be looking at Christ operating on multiple levels at the same time. Obviously, the embodiment of Christ, assuming you're willing to accept the concept of Christ, it's very important that you do, was operating from a third density level, such as we are on right now, physically. And yet at the same time, his person was active at higher levels of reality. all the way up to the ascended masters, which again, as I explained earlier, is just below source, but still on an individual level. So this would give him domination over all of these lower levels. And this is how the mechanics of this works, and this is why Christ had to have these abilities and had to be of this nature. The same applies to being to what we're doing right now. And these people know this. One of the things that we encountered in this process yesterday was locks and security measures. Now, these security measures are not locks like a combination lock that you're going to see, or a puzzle like you might see in a video game. These are devices that are occupying other levels of reality that can only be operated from those levels of reality, using energies and powers from those levels of reality. So in order to penetrate the lower levels of the Getty, to get down the elevator, if you will, to get past this big party area, required massive amounts of special work. Now, the first part was the knowledge, and that's the knowledge of us even knowing that this exists. And knowing that this exists was what made it reality on our level to all of us. They gave us the ability to manipulate that reality on our level that we're trying to do now. We're manipulating this reality on our level right now. That was the first step. The next step was a massive amount of spiritual growth. This was not going to be penetrated before the unconditional love could be applied. Very, very important. Now, some of the mechanisms that were installed had to be removed by dark entities. And someone's going to say, this is the dark side. Why did a demon have to take that lock off? You know why? Because we commanded it. They served us. We made them serve us. All right? We have the power to do that. Why do you think they are so afraid of us? All right, I'm not going to go into the details of that right now because it involves too much ego and people can hardly deal with this stuff as it is without getting into all that nonsense. But to suffice it to say that there are things at work here, powers at work, that are above the ascended master level. And these entities, these powers that are above the ascended master level are being used to provide this access and to defeat these entities that are working on these higher levels. And at the very same time, there are safeguards that are in place, essentially intended for this very same thing. Of course, they try to have countermeasures for everything we could possibly do, but ultimately we are still successful. Now, as I said, you have to listen to the show, but the bottom line is that we discovered yesterday that massive amounts of light beings were in position. They truly were in position, kind of like what everybody's been saying about the white hats and the Pleiadians and the light beings. Yes, there were a bunch of light beings down there, okay, but they were stuck. They weren't able to go anywhere past the hell. They couldn't make the elevator work, okay? We couldn't even open the door to the elevator first. We had to open the door to the elevator. We had to get past it to get to the elevator. And then we find out it's not just an elevator, it's something else. It's huge. And we had to get past the big door to get to it. But you can't just go down the elevator. It's not just a button. We had to do all kinds of things to get down there. And again, you're going to have to listen to the show to get the details of what those things are. But the entities that were on standby waiting for this, they needed us. They needed the humans to do this. They needed the humans to go into the superconscious, to use the fourth density keys to manipulate the third density from the fourth density and alter our reality. And they can't do that because light beings don't do that. Light beings don't alter our reality. The dark side tries to alter reality, but the only people that can alter our reality is us. It was up to us. We had to do it, and we had to use those tools to do it. And again, it's not done. But suffice it to say that the result is this so far. And again, we have a lot of work to do, but this is what's going on right now. The big doors have been breached. The lower levels that are assigned to providing the Loosh barrier and the psychic protection to the even deeper levels, those levels are being breached right now. They are being cleansed. When I say being cleansed, I mean that the bodies, the humans that are actually there, especially the ones that are being used, the victims, if you will, the my labs, those people are being woke up, they're being nurtured, they're being brought out of it. The light is coming back. They're coming back to the light side, and this is happening on an astral level. These people are not free, but the nightmare, they're waking up from their nightmares. The people who are actually in charge and are running this Neverland are keeping a very low profile. They don't want to be seen. Much of the operations of what goes on down there are happening by remote control. The people that run the show are never seen by the rank and file people. Everything is done with cameras. They watch everything. If somebody has to actually mingle and get involved with the recruits in any way whatsoever, the surface dwellers, they do it as little as possible, and those people that have to do that are the low life of the lowest level rung employee, if you will. The elites, ultra elites, don't do that whatsoever. Anyway, we do have a half hour left. I'll tell you what, guys. Since we have a half hour left, if anybody wants to call and ask a question, I know there's a bunch of you listening. And I know there's a few people. I know Karen, you're probably dying to call in. I want to shout out to Karen also. I was on her show earlier. We talked about this. And there's going to be a lot more interviews. Obviously, there's other people that want to talk about this in interviews. And it's important that we do that because I need to counteract the Max, God, Max, I'm not going to, I think you should know better than to talk about the Getty. Come on. But guys, if you want to call in, it's 714-598-3125. Okay? 714-598. Jennifer, you can call in and say hi. I haven't talked to you. Linda, you can call. Let me see who's in chat real quick. Lee. Hi, Lee. Not too many people in chat. I do want to remind people, though, that we do have a chat room. If you haven't thought about joining it, please do. Also, we do need your economic support. First of the year and all that, a few bills have hit. I've paid off half of my domains, and I've got some other bills that are due so far this month. But, it's a few hundred. It adds up to a few $100 pretty quick. But we do need your support. So if you can help us out, now's the time to do it. And I do appreciate it. Also, I really do appreciate the enthusiasm, especially enthusiasm now for what's going on, especially with the energy that the whole Getty issue is generating. And I hope that you guys will continue to help me spread this word, because this really is what's important. I did talk to somebody in Japan. I'm not sure if she's listening right now, but we did talk about having the story picked up by an anime company that does anime comics, cartoons on TV, as well as movies. And that's a wonderful medium for a story like this because obviously it's very difficult. Okay, I've got somebody calling. I'm going to try to hook them in here. That's without losing everybody. Okay, here we go. Oh, looks like it's going to work. Hey, who's this?
Uh, is this Truth Cat Radio?
Yes, it is. Who's this?
Okay, great. My name is Caesar, and I have a question for Patty.
Patty. Well, Patty is not here, but are you talking about Patty Broussard?
Yes, sir.
Did somebody tell you Patty was going to be here?
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, whoever is speaking right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not Patty. Gosh, I don't sound like Patty. I hope Patty, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I never suggest. I don't. I'm not trying to sound like you. Jeez, Patty doesn't sound like me. Come on. My name is Stephen Kelley. What's your name?
Oh, Stephen, my name is Caesar.
Okay, Caesar. Right. Okay, Caesar. Yeah, sure. I can answer a question for you. Go ahead.
Okay, fantastic. I don't know whether you know me or not, but I am a dragon slayer. My question to you is, you keep referring to you need to listen to the show. Exactly what show are you talking about,
Oh, I'm
Stephen?
talking about the show that I did with Aurelia Helios yesterday. That's actually available right now on our YouTube channel, which is Truth Cat Radio Youth YouTube channel. And it's also, again, we have all sorts of Facebook pages and groups associated with Truth Cat Radio, and it's displayed on all of those pages right now, available. So the link is out there. Just do a search for Truth Cat Radio and hit the most recently uploaded, and it should be it.
Okay, fantastic. I have another question then as well for
All right.
your guest, if you don't mind.
Well, I am the guest, so go ahead.
Oh, okay. I apologize. My question is, if once you do have the ability to go down this elevator and clear these certain sections, what are you hoping to accomplish? Are you hoping to fill these bunkers with human beings, or what exactly is the main purpose of going down in the elevator and
Ultimately,
and
that's the ultimate purpose. All
yeah.
right. Okay. Well, okay, that's really simple. First of all, in the United States, we have something called the continuity of government concept. And the idea of that is that if there was a nuclear catastrophe or some Armageddon or some natural disaster, that the leadership of our country could somehow go into these bunkers and survive, right? In Russia, they have something similar. They call it civil defense, where they have bunkers where not just the leadership, but also the people are allowed to take refuge in these bunkers. Now, in the United States, we have been since 1945, roughly, since Roswell, we have been building these bunkers and we have been using the black economy and all sorts of horrible techniques to pay for these things. And a good half of our gross national product, at least, has gone into the construction of these things. And it's really ridiculous the amount of money we're talking about here. So the objective of stopping this, you see, the thing is that the very nature that these tunnels and these bunkers exist means that the sovereign control of our nation is no longer applies. Now, for the most part, these bunkers are controlled by the NSA. The treaties and the government and the agency of the NSA are the ones responsible for managing this stuff. So they're the ones in charge. This also applies to bunkers in other countries. If they're connected in any way, like the ones in Britain or Australia or any of these countries, these bunkers that are being run by the NSA cause those countries to lose all control of their country. So if we want to control our country in any way whatsoever and stop the evil that's controlling our country, we need to control this. Because when we think about having a revolution and marching on Washington and throwing the bums out, they're never going to be able to throw the bums out because it's not just George Soros controlling it. It's these people that live underground that are controlling George Soros. So nothing changes until we control the things underground. Now, the fact that they got caught raping children has allowed us to expose the fact that the children being raped on the surface are only the tip of the iceberg, compared to the children that are being raped underground. Now, because people have woke up to the fact of these children being raped, now they're willing to accept that children are also being raped underground, which gives us a good excuse to go rescue them. So by doing this, now we can get our surface law enforcement agencies like the FBI or the National Guard or whoever to go down there and force the Getty to open their doors and show us this elevator and open that damn thing up and let us go down there and see what the hell's really going on. Now, according to the protocols, this is going to cause them to let off a nuclear bomb to destroy everything to keep that from happening. Well, guess what? Donald Trump is going to do the same thing, because once he gets into that White House, he's going to have to see the bunker under the White House. And if he ever sees the bunker under the White House, he's going to realize that he stepped into satanic Disneyland and it's staffed by sex slaves. And that ain't going to fly, because he ain't one of them. So that's why they're going to try to kill him, because they can't have him becoming aware of all this stuff. And there's no way they can clean it up, because this is their life. They don't just depend on doing child sacrifice for fun because they like screwing children. They have to do it because they work for reptilian Draco aliens that require these human sacrifices to survive. And they cannot stop producing these 100,000, 800,000 missing children that they're using for these purposes every single year. See, that's a lot of missing children. So the objective is to free the children, recover all of the stolen wealth, which is beyond your ability to comprehend, because it's 9,800% more wealth than exists in the world right now. That all needs to come back up to the surface. And then there's the technology that's down there. Technology that's advanced, more advanced than Tesla technology. They have Tesla technology down there. They have alien technology down there. And they have Atlantean technology down there. They have technology from 40,000 years ago going on down there. Like the elevator. The elevator isn't just something with wires and cables. It's something else. We can't even comprehend it. That's what disclosure is. And all of us people that think that we're just we're gonna be like the Soviet troops that never saw indoor plumbing going into Berlin for the first time and thinking, what the hell are these toilets? It's going to be the same damn thing. We don't know what's down there because it's above us. They live like futuristic kings down there. We're like dirt peons compared to them. We're like animals. And that's why they think they're so damn special. And that's why if we're going to beat them, we have to be above them. We have to be monks. We have to be Rambo monks that have nothing but love in our hearts and the ability to go down there and root out this horrible, horrible evil without hating it. Can you do that?
I can't do it for this president. I can't.
I'm not talking about presidents now. I'm talking about this world now. I'm not talking about this stupid president. President's a puppet. Would you do it for me? Would you do it for me?
No, I could do it for the kids. I can do it with them. But
if you do it for the kids, that's what I'm talking about. Do it for the kids.
Well, that's just it. I have a dilemma there. I have a dilemma here.
What's the dilemma?
The dilemma is the CIA has put Obama in charge, and now they put Trump in charge. And I believe
Who cares
Trump
about them? Who cares about them? They're the enemy. You're not listening, man. Do you think any of them care about changing to shutting down the Getty? Do you think the CIA? Who do you think runs this stuff?
No, I know who runs it.
Well, who do you think we're fighting? Who do you think we're fighting?
Well, I know who the enemy is. Trust me,
man. You want to save the kids or not? You want to see 800,000 child sex slaves die every year to feed Satan? Every year. In the United States.
Stephen, if the American people would have voted the right way, which would have been Green Party.
Caesar, I'm
It,
going to let you go if you say anything more dumbness like that, because apparently you don't care
well,
about the children. What do
I,
you care
Stephen,
about the children? Do you care about the children?
right?
Yes or no?
Yes, I do, Stephen.
Okay.
There's
You
a
want to
bigger
save
issue
the
here.
children? You want to save the children? Yes or no?
I would like to,
Would
but there's
like?
a
What
bigger
do you
issue
mean
here.
like to? No, there is no like. Do you want to see these children rescued or not?
Stephen, yes, I do, but there's a bigger issue
There's
here.
no but, and there's no bigger issue than this. This is the whole damn universe we're talking about. What bigger issue is there? What bigger
Well,
issue is
well,
there
well,
than this?
well
What?
for starters,
What
for
do you?
starters, I can't. Stephen, let me speak, okay? For starters, I can't take 3 steps outside of my house without fear of being zapped. The CIA put a chip in me, which
Oh,
means I can't. Which means I can't do anything.
all right. So you're incapable of doing anything because they got a chip in you that prevents you from being a man. I got it. Okay, fine. That's okay.
But Stephen,
But
but then
what?
the other bigger issue.
What?
But
What am I supposed to do about my chip? Huh? You think it prevents me from doing what I'm doing? Huh? You
Stephen,
think
but
they
then
don't zap me?
Stephen,
What?
let me let me speak.
What?
But then the other bigger issue here is the president controls the military, and
No,
right now I have
they control
everyone.
the president. Don't you get it? You're not been listening, have you? Who do you think controls the president? Come on, man. I'm trying to control. Yeah, man.
Stephen, trust me, I understand
Listen to this
completely
show.
who
It's
controls
the
the president.
control. All right, look. All right, I'm
I,
gonna,
I, I,
gonna let you go because I'm not gonna talk about Donald Trump because you seem to be missing the point. All right.
I know how the
All
I
right.
know how the ball bounces.
You can't help you if you're stuck in party politics, Caesar. Good night. There's no party politics, people. That's a joke. If you mention Donald Trump in this context of what I'm doing here, you don't fucking get it. All right? This has nothing to do with Donald Trump. The only thing that has to do with Donald Trump is the fact that he's not Hillary and he's not a Satanist. And therefore, we have the ability to destroy these people because of Pizzagate. Because Hillary was a Satanist, because she was a pedophile, because she was raping children and eating children, she exposed the fact that this is being done. And that is why we have the ability to do this. That's it. There is no buts. There is no Donald Trump's going to prevent me from saving the children. Bullshit. Donald Trump did not prevent me from going into Getty yesterday, and he did not prevent Aurelia, and he did not prevent us from unlocking their damn locks that you can't even see. Now, the army of light beings is down there doing its thing right now, is going to continue doing its thing, and it's going to be like curing cancer. And this cancer that is down there, that is rotting and festering, it's going away. We injected the serum yesterday, and it's killing it bit by bit. So come in here and say Donald Trump this or Donald Trump that, you're just an idiot. My God, I have no patience for this bullshit. Especially when I lost that damn show on Palestine. There is no more live from Palestine because Hytham went pussy when one of his satanic Hillary loving fans got all butthurt because she wanted to talk bullshit about Donald Trump, like this guy. This is bullshit. Why do you think I'm doing this? To get rid of this crap once and for all. I am sick of this party politics and bullshit. And I'll tell you something, when this Getty crap goes down, this crap is going to change. It's going to go away. A lot of things are going to go away. And one of the things that's going to go away is the stupidity. We're going to unstupid a lot of people, whether you like it or not. And I don't care if you do it, because it's only going to take so many of us to send out the vibrations that we need to do this work. And the rest of you that are in sheep mode, in stupid mode, in sleep mode, you're going to wake up just like those sheep that are underground feeding the loosh to the dark side. So if you want to be a loosh producer talking about Donald Trump, you're not helping me. And you're certainly not helping the cause. CIA zapping your chip my ass. I'm sick of this. I'm a victim. There's bullshit. I'm a victim. We're all fucking victims. I'm getting irradiated by Fukushima. I'm a victim. My food is getting irradiated every day. I'm a victim. My water. Who's doing anything about it? Is Donald Trump doing something? No. Is Hillary doing something? No. Is Bernie doing something? No. Are you peons going to wait for some politician to come along and save your ass? No. It ain't going to happen. I'm doing it right now, damn it, and I don't give a damn whether you're involved or not. It's going to happen whether you like it or whether you want to be involved. It's going to happen. And it's not just happening for you. It's happening for levels that you're not even on yet. So this is history, and we're making history. And you need to get involved. And you need to let go of this crap, and you need to stop thinking that someone else is going to do it for you. You have to start making your own reality. And if you're not screaming every day about what needs to happen to make your reality happen, what needs to happen, then you're not doing anything. And if you want to be effective and you want to solve a problem, you talk about the Getty. You scream about this every day. And unfortunately, for those of us who are aware of the realities of just how horrible this is, we know that there is no vacation. We know that there is no other issue. This is it. How can you talk about some stupid-ass thing when 800,000 children are going missing and being raped and tortured every damn year in this one country? How can you give a damn about anything else? Anyway, like I said, those of us who are involved in this, we'd like to have lives too. Okay? And some of us are able to have lives. I personally don't have a life, but that's okay because I had to do this. I had to devote my life to this in order for this to happen so that I could convince other people like you listening to do the same thing and to get involved and to think about it and to care about it and to make it part of your reality. That's all you can do right now. It has to be part of your reality. And I'm going to assume this is what's his face calling back, so I'm not going to take his call. Caesar, can you believe that? My God. Anyway, we only have 10 minutes left. But again, I do want to thank you guys listening. We'll talk on Facebook. Let's have a little Facebook conversation afterwards. I'll make a little post. We can say, yeah, how'd you like the show? Da da da. And like I said, I'll be working for the next few hours producing the recording of the video for this one, as well as the show that was up before me with Graham. And we will continue to provide reports on what's going on because obviously there is nothing important. I swear, I don't care what it is you're going to talk about. This is more important than anything else. This is the number one subject. Until we are done, this is it. My Skype is screwing with me right here. I wonder if it's adjust microphone settings. They're trying to get me to change voice meter auxiliary. I'm going to just close this. I don't trust it. I wouldn't be surprised if we got hacked. We did get hacked the other night. We've been getting hacked all week, but Aurelia, she got shut off during the show on Wednesday a couple of times, 2 or 3 times at least. Her Skype went down. She had to call back on the telephone until she could get her computer rebooted and try to get the Skype working again. Things that they do to keep us off the air. Anyway. All right, listen, if any of you want to get a hold of me, this is what you do. And again, I told you to write some notes. But again, my address, my email address. Again, my name is Stephen Kelley. Oh, Christine Williams. I'm going to add her to the group. Hi, Christine.
Hi.
I was just giving everybody my email. Let me just do that real quick, all right?
Okay.
714. I don't have to end the show. I could keep going all night. It doesn't matter. I just don't want to get mad at anybody. 714. Wait a minute. What am I giving out? Oh, yeah. My email is law17gun@aol.com. That's LAW17GUN@aol.com. All right, AOL. And that's just for communications, okay? If you're going to send money, use the Stephen Kelley 714@gmail.com. That's the PayPal. And don't send any email to the PayPal because I won't get it. Okay. Hi, Christine. How are you? Did you enjoying the show?
Oh, so much. I just wanted to, I just listened to your other caller, and I was just swallowing hard. But as you were towards the end, you were saying, if you want to get involved and you want to join with us, and I'm thinking, yes, how do I do that? Because what was so interesting is as I listened to your show, I listened yesterday as you and Aurelia went through the Getty, and actually I was there too, and I've had several over the years. I've had several dreams that that just all of a sudden made sense to me, and I'm like, it's awakening up to me. I just have never really understood it or known, and so it's like, what do I do with that? What other than just like join with you in holding the light?
Is that enough? Is that enough? That's exactly.
Yeah, I guess that's it. I guess that's it. And I guess I just want you to know that I'm joining with you and holding the light and sending it and right. I'm so excited.
Awesome. Christine, it's you were there, like you said, you were there. We were all there, and people need to understand. We've all got these skills, right? And because there's so many people that they poo-poo this, and it's really important that you don't. Okay, all you guys that are listening, that even, and I don't care if you're listening to a recording years from now, don't have negative thoughts. Don't say, "Oh, that's bullshit." Don't do it, because that's exactly what they want you to do, and it's that energy is what keeps them in power, and it's what we're doing right now is what's just devastating. We're watching this crumble. And let me tell you, these guys are so strong, and they thought it would never happen. And it's happening right now, and we're alive, and we're watching it happen, and it's just amazing. And when you're a psychic and you do this stuff, it's subtle, and you think, oh, what was that? Did I hear that? Did I see that? Yes, you did hear that. Yes, you did see that.
And then, like you said earlier in the show, and then as we have the right to do, then you command. And that's what it is exciting to me, is that I know now that I can command those lower levels.
That's right. We are above them.
And that is so exciting to me because, we all say, well, we're, like this victim mode. Well, what can I do? We're so helpless. We're just blah, 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 blah. And that is just not so. We have so much power that we don't use it, and we need to start using it. And we need to wake up to what we can do and start talking about that and not all about what we can't do.
We are so ridiculously strong, and we have no idea. And there are entities that are out there waiting to help us, these higher level entities, what they will do for us, the realities that they will create for us on our level and levels above us. It's
absolutely,
it doesn't even have to be on our own level, and we can manifest these things. It's like yesterday, we were going around yesterday building stuff and changing stuff and putting stuff up just willy-nilly, whatever we wanted yesterday. It was, but we had to get through stuff. We had to do the exercise. You were there, you know what happened, but we could do whatever we wanted. And I think we blew them away that we could do that. And they had no idea that we could do that. And they're like telling us up to the second, you can't do that. You can't do that. Who do you think you are? And then, oh my gosh, it's over. The day is here. We did it.
Absolutely. And that's nothing more than their fear trying to scare us to believe that we can't, because they know we can.
That's all they got. That's all they got.
If they can get really loud and they can get really scary and make us believe that we can't, then they win. But we can. That's the good news. We can.
Yeah. Well,
and we will, and we are.
Yeah, we
are. It's awesome, and it's awesome. And I just wanted to call in and say, I'm with you, and I'm excited to know what I'm doing now.
Well, it's
it's really awake. It's awakening, and I'm excited.
Okay, well, this is what I want you to do. First of all, if you haven't met Aurelia, I want you to hook up with Aurelia, of course.
I did go meet with her.
All right, and then obviously, I'd like you to help out as much as you can with Mother's Army. Okay,
Yes.
because
Yes.
this is the thing, and this is what people have to understand. This is like a militia without guns.
Right.
You know, it's a spiritual militia, and
It's spiritual militia.
and we're that's the energy we're using, and it's very very effective. Now I want people to understand that yes, I am a very uh, yang, dark energy, and I do have balance, and there's reasons for that. If you read my book, and I just say my book, of course, is Cities Under the Plains, available on Amazon if you're interested. If you're not interested in paying for it, you can send me an email at law17gun, and I'll send you a copy. But the what I have to do now, what's been revealed to me here not long ago, is I got to kind of go back into that whole militaristic type of energy, you know, male energy,
Right.
high male energy. And it's not because it's going to help me spiritually, it's because it's going to help me on this physical level with the humans. I need to be,
Right.
I have to be attractive to the men and the women, and this yang energy is what's going to help me do that, and this will help me lead the people in on this level here. And then as far as the fourth level and the fifth level, et cetera, then you know my altar will do that.
Right.
not
Right.
I'm not involved with that part, but so so I guess
Well,
I don't know.
yeah,
No, but
I'm excited to
yeah, I want
uh,
you to help out a lot. Facebook.
I'm gonna do that, and I just wanted to thank you for all your efforts and let you
Okay.
know that you've got great supporters behind you. So
All right.
thanks so much.
Well, I'll let you go. Thank you for calling.
All right.
And
Yep.
again,
Thanks, Stephen.
join all the stuff and share and just become one of our little zealots. Okay. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, and
Sounds
you
good.
have psychic stuff going on. So, you know, you talk to Aurelia because you know she knows what to do. Okay.
Right. Right. Got it.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen. Good night.
Well, I do appreciate her call, and again, the group that we're promoting right now for this. There's a couple groups, but one of the main important ones, of course, is Mother's Army. And again, Mother's Army. The purpose of Mother's Army is to try to harness the feminine energy, not just the feminine energy, but the balanced energy that's necessary, the enlightened energy that is necessary to bring the love and compassion, the unconditional love, compassion, the forgiveness, fairness, Christ energy, all of this stuff to this issue, and because the warriors that we're going to have, the ninjas that we are actually going to use, are going to be spiritual people, loving people, mothers, people with that kind of energy, loving energy, parental energy, because this is what we're doing. We're playing mommy and daddy here, and we're rescuing the lost boys, the lost children, and we're also taking the bullies, and we're giving them a timeout, and we're going to do it with fairness and compassion and love, as if they are our family, because they are humans. I'm not talking about the reptoids now, but as far as the humans are concerned, we're all humans. We're all from source. We love each other. And even if we have our children go out and commit heinous crimes, we're still going to love those children unconditionally, and we're going to do everything we can to rehabilitate them. So we may fill up the FEMA camps with pedophiles, but we're going to love them and we're going to rehabilitate them. All right? So that's your update, guys. I hope you enjoyed the show. Again, I apologize if I got out of hand with the anti-Trump person, but again, you know, if you know me, that crap's not going to fly. Grace, even though she's covered with towels, is over there making noise. But again, I want to remind everybody, this is Truth Cat Radio at www.truthcatradio.com. Mr. Kitten has been jumping up and down past the computer. I'm waiting for him to step on the keyboard and make some noise or something. But anyway, again, we do need your support. And if you are a first-time listener, please register your name in the chat room. Help us and share our videos and join the various Facebook pages if you haven't. try to be a regular listener and come back and listen to some of the other shows. There's a lot of great content. We're not completely live all week, but pretty much for Monday through Thursday, we've got some decent live content during the prime time. So follow some of those shows if you would. And again, we will continue to keep you guys up to date on all these things going on. And yes, there is a lot of stuff I haven't told you. And yes, a lot of people, they read my book and they think, oh my gosh, you're holding back. There's a lot of stuff you haven't said. Yes, this is all true. But the thing is that there's a lot of stuff that people just won't understand, and you're just going to get confused. And it's just like when we were wandering around the Getty yesterday, there was so much stuff to see. I didn't even get to tell you it all. You're going to have to listen to the older shows. There's at least 2 out there you got to listen to. Remember, we did this twice. But you can't get distracted. You got to focus. You can't spend all day on one floor. You got to go to all the floors. And we've only gone through about 6 or so, and we've got a lot more to go. So stay with us and just be advised that we are winning. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. Be positive. Don't be a victim. Don't think that someone else is going to do it for you. Remember that you have a huge amount of power in your brain, in your heart, in your body, in your soul. You are a light being. You're only here for a short time. You're going to die and you're going to come back and you repeat it. And this time that we're alive right now is really, really important. This stuff that we're doing right now has been thousands of years. People have been waiting for this and beyond. Let me tell you something. Your ancestors and the angels and the people, all of those entities out there across the universe and the galaxy, they're watching us right now. And they are cheering us. And they are loving what we're doing right now. And this is such a great time of celebration, such a wonderful time to be alive and be involved in this work that we're doing. So again, I want to thank you all for being involved, and thank you, all of you that have helped and are working so hard to bring about this new reality and this transition. And again, please stay in touch with me as much as you can. If you have not joined me on Facebook, you probably can't because I'm up to 5,000 friends, but there are a bunch of other pages you can join. And please, for sure, join the Truth Cat Radio Facebook page, the Stephen D. Kelley Radio Show page, the Aurelia Helios page, the Truth Cat various groups. There's at least 2 or 3 Truth Cat page groups / groups on Facebook. Join them all right, and help us. So with that, I'm going to probably cue up a little music before I get back to work, and it's going to take me a long time to decompress for the show, but I just want to tell you how much I do care about every single one of you and how I love you all, and I look forward to being back here next week. I want to say good night, adios, God bless, goodbye.